Hello best friends and welcome back to the channel. I thought it was about time that we sat down and had a big debrief life update. Some crazy things have happened. I feel like this has just been the best start to a year that I've ever had, and there's just so much that honestly we need to talk about. So first things first, I just came and got like a healthy on the go lunch. I mean, I say healthy, it's a KFC, but you know what I always get when I'm trying to be a little bit healthier? A rice box from KFC, because you know, there's a bit of salad in there. It doesn't feel too naughty. I got a 7-Up sugar-free, I believe. And I thought we could have a little catch-up while I eat my lunch. So, we've been to Australia. We've brought a house. And the elephant in the room, we got engaged. I actually can't. Like, I feel like I'm just living my dream. Like, if someone would have said 5 years ago that this all would have happened in the space of, like, 2 months, I would have been like, sorry, what do you mean? Like, I just wouldn't believe them. So this is my order: a fillet rice box. It just looks like that. It's so good and I'm absolutely starving. Okay, first bite together. Okay, so I asked for a few questions on my Instagram and you guys sent me loads. I honestly just was like, let's talk about everything. The house, Australia, getting engaged, like anything you guys want to know, I'm going to talk about it in this video. Okay, so, this is the first question. I feel like it's always polite to answer the first one first. And Ellie says, did you ever suspect Ollie was going to propose, or was it a complete surprise? And there's a lot of engagement questions. Full engagement story. Did he have it planned? Where did he hide the ring? Did you have a feeling he'd propose? Did you have an inkling? Did you have a gut feeling? Were you expecting it? Any suspicions? How did it happen? Okay, so I've always said this. I always thought that before he proposed, I would just have a feeling. And I just can't explain it because nothing he was actually doing in particular gave me a suspicion, but I just had a gut feeling. And the day before I left for Australia, I picked Mia up and we were driving in this car, and I just was like, I don't know why, I was like, I just have a feeling just in my gut that he's gonna propose. I was like, I don't know why. I was like, I just have a feeling. I was like, he's just not acting weird, but just like things he was asking me about. Like, there was one particular night where he asked me, like, when did your mum and dad get engaged? And I was like, it's a weird question for him to ask. And he didn't make it obvious, but like just before we went, I don't know, I had to say to me, like, I just have a little bit of a feeling. And I've always thought that I would, because we know each other so well and we spend literally every minute of the day we can together. So I've always thought it's not going to really ever catch me like fully off guard. So we go to Australia. I'm kind of low-key thinking, is he going to propose? But I knew that he wouldn't propose before my friend's wedding. And then I was thinking, we're going to then get straight into this camper van. And I've said this a few times on YouTube, but like when we first got in the camper van, it was a little bit of a, oh my God, like what have we done? We're literally going to be living in this camper van for a month. Like, definitely a bit of a culture shock. And then obviously we were there for 5 weeks. So by like week 3, it hadn't happened. So I thought, Jodie, you have got this so wrong. Like, he's not proposing. You've got this completely wrong. And then it sort of like got to the last week and he got me completely off guard. So yeah, I had a suspicion that it was gonna happen, but then when it didn't, I thought, oh, it's not, you know, I've made this up in my head. So then when it did get me off guard, because I was not expecting it to happen. Like, I sort of had made peace with the fact, like, oh, like, it's the end of the trip, he hasn't done it, it's not gonna happen. But then, like, speaking to him after, obviously, to get Ollie's sort of perspective on it, he had all intention of doing it. He like asked my mum for permission, and he showed my mum the ring and like spoke to her and my grandma about it. He spoke to his mum about it, and he went and got the ring. And then when we got in the camper, he sort of thought, oh, I'm not really sure. Having 5 weeks to do it maybe was a little bit like hard for him, because it's like, when do you pick the right moment? And just like speaking to him to get his sort of perspective, like, we'd see a beautiful sunset and he'd think like, oh, I wish I'd done it. And then like he texted my mom and said, he was like, I just can't get the right moment. He's like, I don't know whether I'm going to take her away in the summer. He was like, but don't reply to this message, I'm not going to do it. And then like obviously in the last week he was like, I just really wanted to give you the ring. He's like, I don't think I would have been able to keep it for 6 months till we next went on a holiday. And he's like, I wanted to give it you, and like I wanted you to be happy about it. So he's like, in the end, I just was like, you know what, she's going to be happy. And I was so happy, and I feel like if you would have asked me a year ago, like, how do you want to be proposed, you know, I would have said, oh my god, like at sunset with a photographer, you know, really glam. And like, it was completely not like that. Like, it was just us two on the beach, like really intimate, and it was like perfect doing it like that. And I also feel like it made me realise that it's not really like how or where, it's truly like who and like what it means. So it was perfect, like absolutely perfect. I was so shocked. Like, it really was one of those things where I was like caught off guard, and then I was like, I knew it, like I knew you were going to propose. But he really got me off guard by waiting so long. But then it was nice because then we could come home and like surprise our families, whereas like if it would have happened on like week 2 or week 3, I probably would have really struggled, and then I would have had to do it over FaceTime and like tell everyone. And I did. It was so nice to tell everyone in person and be like, guess what, you know, not just like a FaceTime call from across the world. So yes, I did suspect it, but then he did also really trick me. So someone said, how did he hide the ring for 5 weeks? He hid it in a bag where he knew I wouldn't look. He literally said he had the ring in like the ring box in a box, and he just like put it in a bag, and he just like hid it at the bottom of his suitcase, and I did just never look in it because it just looked like a random carrier bag. So that's how he hid it. There's a lot of people saying, can we see the ring? And guys, honestly, this ring, he outdid himself. It's my dream ring. Like, if you look on my Pinterest boards, this ring here is literally what I've always pinned. So this is the ring. I'll take it off so you guys can see it properly. This is the ring. It's honestly perfect. I always just wanted a really simple gold ring with like a rectangular, I don't know like the specifics. Someone else asked that, like, do you know the specifics of the ring? No. I honestly didn't even ask. I was just ecstatic. And for the probably 3-4 days after, I still do it now, like 2 weeks on, but the 2, 3, 4 days after it happened, I literally was just driving around like this, like just staring. We'd be at dinner and I was just staring at the ring. Like, it was absolutely perfect. Like, I love it. I couldn't have picked a better ring for myself. So this is the ring. It's perfect. And the man actually, Ollie had my ring size from like when we've tried like a ring on in Cartier before that I was going to get, and he told the man the size, and he was like, I don't think that's her size. He was like, show me her Instagram, and he picked the size, and I do think that it's literally perfect. Once he like gave it me, he's like, I'm so glad that I didn't wait and like get in my head about it having to be this like perfect like Instagrammy proposal. He's like, I'm so glad that I just like did it and gave it you, because he's like, you just look so happy, and he's like, he loves seeing me in it. It's so cute. Like at night time, like when I take it off, he's like, oh, will you put it back on? And I'm like, no, I'm taking it off. But no, I love it. Like, I couldn't have picked a better ring for myself. Like, if I would have gone into the shop with him and picked it, I would have picked this ring. We did it all on his own. He just, because he works near the jewellery quarter in Birmingham, so one day after work he went in and he said, like, this is what I'm thinking, like, this is what I want. And then he sort of like gave them all the ideas, and then they made this ring, and then he went back like however long later and picked it up. But yeah, that's like as much as sort of I know from the interrogation that followed the proposal, because I was like, tell me the full story, I need to know absolutely everything. So yeah, that's the ring, and I absolutely love it. So yeah, someone says, did you pick the ring? No, but this is literally like, I've always shown him pictures, and I'll say that, like, don't sometimes leave it up to people, because an engagement ring is so special. You've got to wear it for the rest of your life, and if you have a feeling that, you know, you're with the person that is maybe going to propose to you, send them Instagram pictures or send them TikToks, or like, don't just like make it like a taboo topic, because you just never know what someone's going to pick you. And I feel like you will love whatever you get, but it's also when you're wearing it, you know, you want to love it. So I didn't pick it, but he literally got it perfect. Someone says, how did you feel when your fiance went down on one leg? So happy for you both. Complete shock. Like, it was one of those moments where I was thinking, like, I can't believe that this has happened. It's such like a milestone that like girls like love to fantasize about, and I just couldn't take it in. I was literally like that. Like, I was shaking. Like, it was just like a rush of emotion, and I feel like it was like so special and intimate. Like, I loved it, and like there was no one really around. It was on like a bit of like a isolated bit of the beach. So it was called Palm Cove. If you look on like TikTok, it's a really beautiful beach. There's all like palm trees there, but I was not expecting it that day at all, but it was perfect. Someone also says, how long has he planned it? So he said that when we went in for the house last year, he like knew that was the next step. Like, we're very open with each other, like we know we want to get married, like it's something that we've talked about. And he said that when like he knew for sure that we were getting the house, and sort of that's also one thing that made me think it wasn't happening, because we're putting so much of our money into the house. I was thinking, like, is it going to be his priority to buy a ring? Like, I just wasn't sure. He said that like last year he sort of made his like mind up, and then it was just like picking where, then deciding to do it in Australia. And I think he got the ring maybe like a month before we went to Australia, so he had it hidden in his room. Like, I don't know how I didn't find it. When did he guess this was the time? Again, he just said like it was just like our next natural step, and he wanted it to be somewhere special. I think you just know, like, in yourselves, like, we've got our house now, like it was just the next step. We've been together for 8 years. It was just like the natural next step, I guess. And he was like, I just wanted to make you my fiance. How long were you engaged before putting it on social media? I think it was a week, because I wanted to make sure that I told everyone, like friends and family. So obviously, like, we told our mums that it happened, we told our grandparents, we told our siblings, and I told Mia, and then I sort of like told like my closest friends. And then like I wasn't seeing my brother till the next day after I saw Mia. So like once I'd like told everyone, then I was like, okay, like now I feel like I can put it online. But I was so excited, like the excitement to post that and share it with you all, like it was crazy. So I think it was about a week, but it was also really nice that it was like when we were in Australia, it was like our little like secret, and like it was like a little cute bubble that we had. And it was nice to not have the pressure of like posting and getting it all on social media. Like, it was really nice just to have it between us and just sort of keep it like that for a couple of days. So he proposed on the 18th of March. So I think it's 2 weeks yesterday. It was a Monday. Obviously on holiday. Mondays don't feel like Mondays. Okay, wedding. There's a lot of questions about wedding. Any wedding plans? What are the plans for the wedding? When's the wedding? Okay, so wedding plans, definitely not going to be 2024. I'm thinking probably 2026, because I think that gives us enough time to do our house renovation, enjoy living in it, and then start planning it. I don't want to be like planning a wedding and a house at the same time. Like, I feel like it'll just be a little bit much, and I want to enjoy both chapters. So I'm thinking 2026, and we definitely want to get married abroad. That's something that we've always wanted. Just having a UK wedding, personally, I used to work in that. Like, that's what I literally did for like 4 or 5 years, and they're beautiful and I love them. But I feel like I want it to be more of like a family holiday and get everyone on like a big trip. Like, my mom and dad got married in the Dominican Republic, and they just like have the best memories of like both sides of the family being there. And I just don't want it to be like one day where then you just like walk away from it and it's sort of like over. Like, I do want it to be like more like a family orientated sort of vibe, because that's like very important to us both. So definitely abroad. And I'm not sure where. I have a few ideas. Like, I've always dreamt of Italy. Now I'm a little bit older, I don't really know whether that's necessarily the vibe that I want, but definitely abroad. And I'm thinking 2026, because then that gives me like 2 years to plan it, which I think is a little bit like quite average. I feel like a year just wouldn't really be enough. Like, if we don't finish the house until this summer, and then I'm like, right, we need to plan it for next year, I feel like it'll be a little bit rushed. So, and also things are expensive, and I don't think my bank account would be ready to renovate a whole house and then start booking a wedding. So 2026. But I can't wait to take you guys along on the journey. I feel like it's going to be so fun, like going to look at venues and wedding dress shopping. Are you joking? And like asking my bridesmaids to be bridesmaids. I'm just so excited. Like, it's just been something that I've always dreamt of happening, and the fact now that like it's sort of like in arm's reach, I just can't wait. So yeah, definitely abroad, and most likely going to be 2026. I feel like that's pretty much everything about about like weddings and engagement. What year are you hoping to get married? Not next year, the year after. Oh, one thing to add on to the ring though, I really wanted one that like sparkled. So can you see how it's like, how it sparkles? I don't really know the technical terms, but a lot of the ones that the jewellers were showing Ollie were more like glass, and he was like, no, like I don't know what it's called, but it has more of that like sparkling. I really like that. It feels like a princess ring. I love it. Oh my God, someone said, opinion on the Frank Green water bottle. I've got mine right here. No, I'm sorry. I went to Australia expecting everyone to be Stanley slags like they are here. Stanley is like not even a word spoken in Australia as far as I saw. It's all about the Frank Green bottles. They're everywhere. I'd never seen them before, but I absolutely love mine. It's a litre. It keeps everything so cold. It's really good to have like big ice cubes in, and I like it that it has the little thing and like the sippy. I really, really love it. I would definitely recommend. I don't know if you can get them in England. Sorry guys, you overheated and I absolutely scoffed my whole meal. That was so good. There's something about KFC chicken that just... oh, it's so good. How are you feeling after being back home after your trip? Mixed emotions because, pardon me, mixed emotions because Australia was really the best holiday ever. Like, it was the best 5 weeks of my life, and it was just an amazing trip, and I feel like we loved it there. So coming home, it was definitely sad. It was definitely a mix of emotions because on one hand I was so excited because we've got our new house and I'm so excited to like renovate it and get living in there. So that was like something I was excited for, but it just felt like we weren't there long enough and we loved it there. So sad, but also like excited to get back into routine. Obviously like getting engaged was incredible, and I feel like that gave it like a really nice like positive like spin to come home, because obviously I was excited and I was excited to enter this new chapter of our life, but it is also really sad because we absolutely loved it there. Have you got any more holidays? None planned. We'd love to go to Ibiza in the summer, but being completely honest, that is house dependent. How long it takes us to get into the house, how much it costs us to do the house, and just like logistics like that. Like, we'd love even if we could just go for like 3 or 4 days because we love it in Ibiza a lot. But yeah, other than that, no, not this year. But me and my mum and my grandma have just booked a like once in a lifetime trip for 2025, and we're going to Japan. And we're doing like a full tour of Japan, and we're doing a stop off in Hong Kong, and that's always been my grandma's dream, and it's always been my mum's dream to be able to take my grandma, and now she's in a position where she can take her. So obviously it's not the best timing for me, but like me and Ollie spoke about it and he was like, you cannot miss out on that opportunity. Like, to go to Japan with your grandma and your mum, like that's an incredible opportunity, and like it's going to be an amazing trip. So that's next year. I think we're going for like 2 weeks, but it's like a full tour, so I'm really excited for that. But other than that, no. I would like to go away with Mia on like a little girls trip before she has the baby, but nothing planned. So maybe we can squeeze something like that in before she's too heavily pregnant, but no, nothing yet other than that. When do you want babies, if you want babies? Honestly, I thought I used to get a lot of questions about like babies and things before. Since Mia got pregnant, they've doubled. I feel like everyone just like sees Mia pregnant and they're like, oh, Jodie pregnant. But honestly guys, I don't know. Like, I always said like I wouldn't want to have a baby until we were engaged, at least. Like, ideally, like if you would have asked me when I was younger, I'd say married. Now I'm older, I'm not so bothered about the married part because I know like we're committed. But I think just like being engaged was just something that was important to us both. So we're just, I don't know, we're just in a whatever happens sort of phase. Like, there's no pressure. Like, I would love to be a mom, and I know Ollie would love to be a dad, and I feel like whenever it happens, it happens. Obviously right now our focus is the house, but I don't know, like honestly no pressure at all on our end. When do we want babies? Definitely like in the next 2 or 3 years, I would say, but no pressure. But then it's also, you have to think about if we're getting married, like how long after having a baby do you want to get married? But then it's like, do we want to wait until we're already married and then we'll be like that much older? Like, I do want to be like more of a younger mom. I mean, I'm 24 this year, so I don't know. There's no answer. Like, I don't know. Me and Ollie change our mind all the time, and I don't know. But what I am going to say is I am going to wait to see how Mia gets on with motherhood before making a decision as of right now. And that's what I keep telling everyone when they ask me. I'm like, I'm going to see how Mia gets on. I'm going to watch Mia do it first. She's the big sister. She can, you know, be the guinea pig in this. Someone else asked, do you see it being a longer adventure for you both in future? Cute Australian babies. I would be lying. Like, I would actually be liar pants on fire if I sat here and said that we have not spoken about moving to Australia, and we spoke about it before we'd even been, and then going there and speaking to people who have done it, are doing it, have done it, you know, 10 years ago, and like getting their perspective. It's definitely something that, not that we're thinking about, but something that we definitely have considered and probably will consider. And not even so much for us, more like if we want kids, and if we, you know, we're bringing kids up, like where do we want to bring them up, how do we want to bring them up. One thing about Sony, honestly, if you're thinking about buying a camera, Sony, you need to sort out the internal temperature. The way this camera overheats in the car is absolutely crazy. So yeah, on the end of that, yeah, we kind of, not that we are definitely like at all, like we've just bought a house, like our families are here, like our lives are here. I don't know, like honestly, it's definitely something that we're considering for the future, but also nothing that we're like, yes, like we need to do that, we have to do that, like we're so unhappy with our lives here, because we both live very amazing, blessed lives here. But I can see why a lot of people do it, like going and seeing it all. Someone says, I'm just so excited for your homely, cozy vlogs. Me too. I just can't wait until we're in the house. I feel like it's just going to be so nice, and just to have a house that is just ours and our own space, I just can't wait. How was your reunion with Sash? Guys, if you watch my vlogs before I went on holiday, I was really worried about Sash. There was like a week before I went that she was just really poorly. Like she was like being sick a lot. She just wasn't really herself. And I just honestly kind of had to make peace with the fact that I was going to Australia, and it was a possibility that she might not be here when I got back. And leaving for the airport was honestly the hardest thing. Like I could cry about it now, that I've ever had to do. But it was as if like once I got on holiday, like within a week, I was obviously getting like constant updates from my mom, who was looking after her, and she was like, she's actually like really perked up. And guys, I think she was just annoyed at me for going on holiday. I don't know. I mean, she's getting older. She's going to be 18 in October. She's like 17 and a half. It's really hard because it's something that is inevitable at this point. You know, when you get a puppy and you think like, oh, they're going to be here forever. Sasha has been here forever, since I was 5 years old, and it's really hard. I feel like she's like the last piece almost of like my dad, because her and my dad were like, if you think me and Sasha like this, her and my dad were like this. And it just brings like a lot of emotion. And obviously me and my brother both don't know life without her, because we can't remember it. My brother was 2 when we got her, I was 5, and she's just seen us through like the hardest times and the happiest times. And it is really hard, but I'm sort of in a place where like every day since she was like 14, I've always said every day from now on is just like a bonus, because it's so unheard of that dogs get to this age. And it's only really been, I'd say, like the last 12 months where we've seen like a deterioration. Ignore, sorry, my camera overheated again. Yeah, you kind of just have to make peace, and it's not something that I have made peace with, but it's something that I'm trying to make peace with, that she isn't going to be here forever, and we're going to have to live life without her, and that is really hard and really sad. But she's here right now, and she's healthy, as you know, as well as she can be, and she's still eating and walking, and she's happy to see us in the morning, and you know, she's very cuddly again, which I feel like she lost for a couple years, but she's really cuddly. She loves being around us, so she's still here. And yeah, to everyone sends Sasha a big hug through the post, because she's the best dog ever. Someone says, where was your favourite place in Australia that you visited? Probably Byron Bay. We loved it there. Ollie's best friend told us that we would, and I was like, yeah, whatever. No, guys, we loved it. I didn't have that much big expectation for it. It is incredible, but if we were ever to go back and like go for a more like long period of time, we would definitely go to Melbourne. I feel like, one, our friends are there, so it feels like we've got a little bit of a community, which is really nice and really positive, but also we just loved the vibe. Like when we landed back in Melbourne the second time, I just thought, this is where I am truly meant to be. Like both of us love it. And yeah, Melbourne has my heart, but Byron Bay for like a beach and like a bit of a break like that, insane. Where did you pick your camper up and drop it off? So we picked it up in Melbourne, and then we had it for 25 days, and we basically road tripped all the way pretty much to the top in Cairns. If you were to drive, I think in one go it's like 30 hours. It's a long time. And I think what I didn't really realise about Australia is there's like hours of nothing. Like, it's such a huge country. Like, if you compare England, well, the UK to Australia, Australia is huge, like ridiculous. So like, you could drive for like an hour and literally see nothing. How much do you love Australia? Out of 10? 12. Would you move there? Like I said, I don't know. It'd be such a big decision. Like, I'm such a home family girl. Like, I spend every minute pretty much with like my mom or, you know, my nan, and our friends are here. So I don't know. It's a big decision that we might have to make. I don't know. I actually said, oh my god, you're engaged, when I saw your post. I'm really happy for you. Thank you. You guys are just so lovely. I'm just seeing if there's anything else. Someone asked, how long do you think it'll be until you're in the house? I don't know. If you ask me and Ollie, we're going to give you different answers. If you ask me, I'm going to say July. If you ask Ollie, he's going to say September. I don't know. I don't know how these things work. Like, when I hear something's happening, I'm like, oh, it's basically done then. And he's like, well, not really, because this has to happen, and 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 someone has to come in and do this, and then someone else has to do this, and then we have to do this, and then you're a bit like, oh. So I don't know. I'd love to be in. I'll definitely be in. One thing for certain, I'll be in for my birthday in October. It's currently April. I am saying July, and it possibly will fall into August. That's what I'm hoping for. And I think as long as we stay focused and organised and like ahead of ordering things, hopefully then. So that means we'll be in for Christmas, which I can't wait for. And I'm just, yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so, I could just, so excited. So probably like end of summer, being realistic. And I think that is pretty much everything answered, guys. So thank you so much. I'm just going to turn the aircon up to try and keep you cool. Thank you so much for just being the best friends and sticking around, because I know sometimes travel content isn't like everyone's preference to watch, but I'm really excited to be back and back into my normal content. So vlogs, you know, general life, house renovations, shopping. I'm so excited to get into some spring summer fashion. So I'm just really excited, and I'm just grateful to be able to like document my life in this way. And, you know, wedding planning and moving into our first house, all very, very exciting. So I think that's pretty much everything that I need to, you know, debrief you on. If you've got any more questions, then pop them in the comments and I will be sure to get back to you. I'm gonna sneeze. I've been sneezing so much, it's gone. But I love you guys so much. Don't forget to subscribe if you don't already, and I will catch you soon with a brand new video. Goodbye, guys.